Welcome to The Creative Influencer, where we discuss all things creative with an emphasis on influencers. The Creative Influencer is hosted by John Pfeiffer. John is an entertainment attorney in Santa Monica, California, who represents influencers and other creatives.
This is episode 3 of the first season of the Creative Influencer podcast. Today we interview Alisha Marie. Alisha has been described as the hardest working influencer on YouTube. We'll talk about the 4 phases of her career, from getting started to a workaholic phase, which ultimately led to burnout. She is now entering the rejuvenation phase of her career. Alisha gives some great advice to anyone starting their YouTube career. I am joined today by Alisha Marie. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Okay, full disclosure, we've worked together for about 3 years.
Have we really? It's been 3 years?
I looked it up.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
It was 3 years. Okay, so in preparing for this, I went back, did some research on your career, and I'm going to divide your career into 4 phases.
Okay.
Okay, and I want to see if you agree with me.
Yeah.
First phase is the getting started phase. Second phase is the workaholic phase. The third phase is the burnout phase.
Yes.
And then the 4th phase is the rejuvenation phase.
Yep.
And these phases are not equal time. So, for instance, the getting started phases, you joined April 18th, 2008.
Yeah.
But your first posted video that's still online is January 17th, 2011.
Yes, so that's the still posted online. I remember going through and deleted so many videos.
Okay.
But my first video, I remember, and I really wish YouTube could find it. They tried to get it, but they couldn't because I deleted it forever ago. But it was a makeup tutorial that was 1 minute and 45 seconds long, and I was sitting down in my room, and that was that same year. That was 2008.
Okay, so why did you go back and delete?
I remember going through a phase thinking that, I think that was also the start of the everything needs to look good as far as my videos and stuff. And I'd been doing it for so long, and I was thinking more of visually, and I was just like, those are old, they don't get views, I should delete them. And I really wish I didn't delete it because it was my first video. But
And I take it you didn't back them up by any place else?
No, not at all. Not at all. I know.
Okay, so how many did you delete? About?
Oh God, a lot are private, which means only I can see that. And at that time, when I deleted the first one, you didn't have that feature. So there's probably a few hundred that are private.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot.
So why did you join YouTube?
I joined YouTube so long ago, and that's when it was just a genuine hobby. I loved makeup so much, and I loved watching people do tutorials and show themselves what they bought when they were shopping. And I just wanted to be a part of it, and I just thought I could do it, and I thought it'd be so fun. So I tried, and I definitely failed the first 4 years. From watching those old videos, I'm sure you could see when it finally took off. It was definitely a while. But I just fell in love with it because it was genuinely, and I'm not exaggerating, it's all of my interests in one thing. And I think that's what I liked, because I grew up doing theater and I loved that. But it was never enough for me to be this is my passion and I want to pursue that. I loved music so much. Same exact thing. Same thing with acting and beauty. And at one point I wanted to be a makeup artist, but I just kind of knew that wouldn't really happen. So it was this one place where I could just, all of my talents could be in one spot, and I just fell in love with it.
Now I want to back you up a second. When you were little, you were in theater?
Yeah, I was in theater when I was little. Yeah.
What kind of stuff?
We did, I remember I was Dorothy in Wizard of Oz. We did a lot of just musicals, and I always really, really enjoyed it.
So you're comfortable in front of a live audience? Yeah,
definitely. And then I did cheerleading for, I think, 7 or 8 years. So I always loved performing. Being in front of an audience was never a huge problem for me.
Did your parents take videos of you when you were doing this stuff?
Yes and no. I know there's somewhere. I need to find them, especially now, I know they're on VHS somewhere, and to convert it to I just got to figure that out. Yeah. But I know it's possible. But yeah, I would love to do a reacting video to all these old. It'd be so funny.
Yeah, that'd be fun to watch. So then, in 2011 is your first. You have 2 videos. 2012, 1 video. 2013, 11 videos. And then, what changed for you to decide to now post a lot?
That was the time that I moved out of my parents' house, and we finally my sister and I got an apartment together, and it was kind of just this blank canvas of having the freedom to kind of do more that I wanted to do. I really got into home decor then, so that was more content that I could do. And I remember coming to this point because I was commuting to college at that time, and I really wasn't investing my time much into school, and I really just wanted to dive into YouTube. And I think there was almost like a switch moment of being like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this.
And was there one thing you can point to where you decided that's what you wanted to do?
I think I just remember that's when my channel switched from beauty to more lifestyle. And that's the moment that I realized, okay, I'm not a makeup artist, but there's something that's going here, because that's when it started to kind of take off. And I realized, you know what, I'm just going to think of it more like a magazine. Like there's comedy, there's makeup. It's kind of like everything put together. But yeah, I just like kept falling more and more in love with it. It was weird.
Which we'll touch on a little bit more later. But
Yeah.
when you say you think of it more like a magazine, do you chart out what episodes are going to come?
I used to definitely be like, okay, I've done one makeup one this month, so I should do a comedy one next, and then I should do a tutorial hair or something. You know what I mean? I used to be very like thinking that was more of a tactic, which it can be. Where now my views have definitely changed a bit. But yeah, I definitely used to.
Why have they changed?
I think realizing that it's so much more your personality when it comes to anything online or digital than your routinely upload. And that's important to grow, definitely. There's definitely little strategies like that, but just doing that isn't what's going to make you a superstar overnight.
So when somebody watches your videos now, how much of that personality is you?
Well, hopefully with this coming back stage, it's going to be 1,020%. I feel like my vlog channel is definitely more who I am. My main channel, I was just talking to a friend about this. I think from doing it for so long, there's been this more presentation, like the main channel, it needs to be perfect. It needs to be like you're on camera. Where vlogs, what people love about them is they're so real. So there's plenty of times where I'll sit down and I'm filming a main channel video with my nice camera, and I have to tell myself it's my vlog channel, just to kind of get me in the mindset of there's no difference between this camera and this camera. Right. This one just seems like a lot more professional, formal, there's lights.
Which takes us to your workaholic phase.
Oh, yeah.
So I went back and counted.
Okay.
From 2014 to 2018, you had 250 videos which is approximately one a week. Mm-hmm. So the first question is, where'd you get the energy to do a video a week?
You know what the hard part is? Like one video a week doesn't even seem like much, but it really is. And that's, I genuinely, just my drive. Like nothing would have stopped me to upload. Even if I was sick, if I had the flu, like traveling, I would make sure that I would have a video up. And it became more of a control thing, that workaholic phase, And I've had so many friends be like, Alisha, like, how do you do it? What do you do? What's your secret? And I genuinely could just tell them there really isn't anything. It's just something in me. Right. I have to have it done. And I don't know. So then I
don't remember who it was that described you as the hardest working girl in social media.
Well, there's so much to it. I think, and then that led to, I think the start of my burnout was me not caring as much.
Well, then that was the last phase I wanted to talk about. Yeah. Talk about that. When did that start to kick in?
Honestly, last year. So last year when I look at my channel, I'm just really not proud of it because I love including comedy, but I'm not comedy. And I think that's when I was looking back at my channel, for last year, I really noticed how much, I really noticed that it was all pretty much comedy, anything to get views, anything that, it wasn't really me, like a lot of the, like, and it's funny because just looking at that channel, I just realized that doesn't represent me whatsoever. Like, yeah, I got views, but like, it doesn't matter. Like, that doesn't mean anything now. So then what kind of started happening was instead of having more of a structured week and routine, I just started getting more busy with whether it was like press or other projects and stuff, to where instead of having the whole week to film one video, I ended up only having like 2 days to film it. And then what ended up happening was I would film it Friday and partly Saturday, edit all Saturday night, Sunday morning to get it up Sunday. And that became the routine for, I would say, probably at least 5 months. And that's what really started kicking in the burnout, because I would be so exhausted by the end of after uploading that I wouldn't want to film again for a few days. And then by that time it's Friday again.
And you got to do the whole circle.
And I had to do the whole circle again. And that's what I think, doing that for so long and then not being proud of the videos. Oh, sorry, is it good?
We're good.
Okay. I think from doing that cycle for so long and on top of it not being proud of what I was uploading. So that was like two parts of it. And then also at that time, YouTube's algorithm changed drastically and there's this huge shift in just views and stuff. So basically, on top of that, my views were low, and putting all three of those things together, I just kind of took a step back and be like, I'm not proud of this. And that's what made me not care to miss a week if I happened to miss a week. And most of the times they were really good reasons if I was like actually super sick. So there's definitely valid times where missing a week made sense and I wanted it to be something that I was proud of. And then the more that happened, the more that my old self, that I would never miss a week, I realized how much my drive had changed. And I think that's what made me notice that I was starting to feel burnout. And that's what really kind of made it even harder for me, of realizing like, wow, I used to love this so much. It used to be my passion. What's changed? And then also from there, I've had a lot of people in my life telling me like, oh, you need to kind of take a break or slow down or something, especially being creative. Like you need time to be creative. And I knew that, but part of me, I don't know if it was an ego thing. I was just like, no, I can do this. Like I can do this. It's okay. And then finally one day I just knew I needed to take a break and had a full on breakdown and was like, okay, this is even more of a sign that I need to take a break. So
you posted, and I want to come back to how long it took you to get to this point.
Yeah.
But it's May 13th, 2018. You posted a video titled, "This Isn't Goodbye."
Yes.
How long before you filmed that did you know you were going to do that video?
Honestly, only like a week. And I think that's what, maybe 2 weeks max. I think I remember also knowing if I'm going to do this, this is actually the best time to do it because, you know, summer has always been a huge time for my channel. And like, even just thinking on like the business side, I'm like, okay, it kind of makes way more sense to like, if I'm going to do this, like now's the best time to do this from that way. But then also just on a personal side of just like, okay, like you've known this for a long time. There's no better time than the present. But yeah, I didn't really think of, like, I think it was so funny looking back. It was so obvious, but for some reason I just didn't.
Oh, it's never obvious to the person that's going
But
through it.
Completely. My biggest fear with it was there's this cycle within, I would say influencers, but mostly YouTubers or everyone, I don't know. There's definitely this cycle that I've noticed with other YouTubers that they're killing the game. They're uploading so much. They're literally on top. Then they start to like slightly care less. They start skipping one upload. Then they start missing months. And then their channel's dead. And by the time they try to make a comeback, they always try to make a comeback to YouTube, their channel's dead. And that was always my biggest fear of just becoming irrelevant or like that it's just all gonna be gone. And then something I really had to keep telling myself is, one, Alisha, you're not those other people. Like you're different. You have your own drive. You're different. And then on top of that, I think it's better to save this before it's down in the dirt. Like it's not, my channel isn't done. It's actually like, from most people's standpoint, I guarantee that they looked and they're like, oh, I didn't even notice, you know?
Right.
Because I felt like taking that break while things were still good was a huge strategy that I wish someone kind of had.
I don't know if you look, but that video has over 47,000 comments.
Oh my God, yeah. And I'm sure it's the most commented. And the love everyone gave me was so much. I genuinely couldn't read the comments that day because I just kept crying every time I would read it. And I was just like, why? Like, why did it take me so long to do this? Why was my fear that they would be mad or, do you know?
No, absolutely. Okay, so now then we enter into the fourth phase, which is the rejuvenation phase.
I'm so excited for this.
Okay, where are you now?
I have kind of come full circle. And I think I've truly realized more than ever that if you just do what you love, people will follow it. And for the longest time, I also thought I felt like I was following my old subscribers and doing what they wanted to see instead of just doing what I wanted to do and allowing them to follow me. And also, I can find a new audience. Do you know what I mean? Like, just because I've aged up doesn't mean I'm stuck to just catering to the millions of people who have subscribed and what do they want to see? What do they want to see? Instead of, no, let me just do what I want to do and what I want to upload. Is that what you call
getting older is aged up?
Yeah. I just no, for sure. That's something that kind of I had like a light bulb moment of just, why am I chasing what other people want to see from me instead of just doing what I want to do? You know, like I feel like the best filmmakers could never live that way. You know, like you're sacrificing your art and creativity just to make people happy, and you're never going to make people happy. So,
Which is why they remake all the
for
Spider-Man
sure.
movies. Yeah. So what do you have on your plate?
Right now, definitely preparing for when I come back. I think that's something I also realized of, I don't want to just come back. I want to make sure I have a plan. You know, I've pre-filmed a little bit because pre-filming is always my biggest struggle of life. And just doing it right. You know, like I actually do have the chance to start over. So I'm just excited to do that.
When you say pre-filming, what do you mean?
When I say pre-filming, since I do upload about once a week, like I said, I used to be filming it Friday and uploading it 2 days later, where now I want to make sure I have at least a video or two ready to go that are at least being, like, I'm editing, working on before, like weeks before they go up. And I think that's just, I just have to do that.
In the time off, what have you done to refresh yourself? I mean, you've obviously thought about what you want to do and a different vision.
It was really hard, which I feel like is not that big of a surprise. I could not sit still. I could not work. I still am a workaholic. And what I kind of did, which wasn't maybe the smartest thing, was I dove into my Instagram, because I was like, oh, I'm just taking a break from my main channel, so I can take a break from that. And then I dove into Instagram. There was a lot of different events and stuff that I went to, which I probably didn't have to go to, but I definitely said I would. I did go to Greece, and that was a fun trip. That was
You vlogged about that?
I did
Saw
vlog
your photos.
I did vlog that. That was my first time vlogging back. So I did end up taking about a 2-week break from my vlog channel. But over the past 3 months, I think I barely even vlogged. And I think that was also a moment for me of noticing the burnout, because my vlog channel has been something I've always been obsessed with. I've loved so much. Sometimes even more, in some ways, even more than my main channel, just because it's so real. And I never really tried much for that. So the fact that I noticed that I went a month without even uploading, that was another moment for me being like, okay, something's up, you know?
So now, are you the kind of person that can go to the beach and just lay there?
No. I have to, I'm like, and this is also the struggle that I have. My hobby is taking photos. I need a new hobby that has nothing to do with social media, I think, because I'm just when we were in Greece, there were so many times I wanted to enjoy the moment, have fun, but I'm like, no, what I want to do is just go around town and take some photos, because I love photography too. I like even being behind the camera. So that's it's so hard when, again, that whole thing with all of my hobbies being one. In some ways I'm like, okay, maybe it would be good to have I don't know, I can draw, paint.
Well, I mean, most people's greatest asset is also their greatest liability.
I love that. Me. Literally
it's me. Too. No, it's just what it is. It's
dang.
What has gotten you where you are is also going to be the hardest thing you have to fight.
Wow, that's so true. Dang.
So there you are.
That's the answer.
Do you want to announce your...
Oh my God, I can.
Yes.
Can I? I can, right?
Sure.
Oh my God. Well, other things coming up that I'm super excited about. I actually am doing my own podcast soon, which I am so excited about. There is another influencer doing it with me. I'm not going to say who yet, but I feel like there's so many moments where I'm always telling people, oh, something exciting's coming.
Right.
And I feel like this is something where I'm genuinely so pumped for it, and I know it's the right thing to do, and it's going to be so good. I'm genuinely so excited for that. So not exactly sure when it's going to come out, but you're the first exclusive.
Yes, there.
Oh my God.
I'm going to call E Entertainment.
There you go.
Okay, so let's shift gears a second.
Okay.
Let's talk about your platforms. Mm-hmm. Right now you have almost 7.5 million YouTube subscribers.
Yes.
5.3 million Twitter followers.
Yeah, I don't know why that one's so big.
Well, I was going to go back. I'm going to circle back on that. And 3.7 Instagram followers. Mm-hmm. Are you on Snapchat?
I am. They don't show you how many followers you have on that,
No.
but views-wise, it can be anywhere from 300 to almost 500K.
What about Facebook?
I'm just not on it. I mean, I'm on it. I have an account. I think there's 20K followers, maybe 50. I don't know. Not that many, but.
Are you on it privately or just?
Not that much. And I think that's my thing. I think I've been told by so many people that I need to get on that. So maybe this year, finally.
How back in your workaholic days, how many hours a day? First, just were you online? Not making content, just online.
Yeah, and I've noticed the times that my channel is doing the best is when I'm watching YouTube videos as a viewer. Just like being aware of the content, the trends, and just genuinely wanting to watch it. So I think also, I keep flipping between all these phases.
Yeah.
Like with the whole burnout thing, like there was easily 2 months where I didn't watch any YouTube videos, and I had no desire to. Almost like I resented it, maybe, probably. Honestly, but yeah, I noticed that I didn't even care to watch it then. So I've noticed when I'm feeling really good about my channel and proud of it, I'm usually watching it, and it's funny because like it doesn't have to go hand in hand, but it kind of makes sense.
Your most popular video has over 30 million views.
The pranks one.
Funny pranks, roommate wars.
I love that video.
Why do you think that is?
I think that was I remember that was the first video I filmed in this house. I remember genuinely just having so much fun with it. Like Ashley and I going back and forth, and that was part of a series, so I think people were looking forward to it and stuff. But I think it was just entertaining. Like when you watch it, there isn't a 3-minute long intro of me talking that people skip. You know, like it literally just dives straight into it. And it was fun because it's.
Where did you get the idea of painting a bar of soap?
You know what? You'd be surprised what you can find online. That's all I have to say. There's so many things. I never take. There's only some that I've like actually come up with, but most of them I do find online and stuff. But it's so funny. Some of the things I'm like, wow. Like if I was super young finding all this, it would have been horrible. Like I totally would have done all of them like on Ashley for sure.
Right. And Ashley is your sister.
Yes.
Do you have any other sisters?
No, I don't. I do have a brother, but no other sisters.
Now, do you go for G, PG, PG-17, R?
For the longest time, I was definitely G. Being super, super clean. Think Disney Channel, like super clean. And then throughout it, I definitely aged up more to more of like a PG. And then moving forward, especially with me growing up and stuff too, I'm just like, there's no one wants to see. I don't know. I don't want myself to limit myself to, you know. I'm rambling so much. I'm so sorry.
That's what a podcast is.
I love it. Yeah, no, definitely moving forward, I want to age it up and have it more PG-13 and have it more true to just like who I am and stuff. And it's like not like I'm like a crazy like party girl or anything, but you know, just having it more realistic, because I think at one point.
But you're not 16.
I'm not 12 anymore, and I think that's something that, you know, if I want to age up that audience, that's just going to have to be something. And then I think also getting older, for the longest time I truly was like, what you see is what you get. My channel was 100% representation of me, and people, that would always be something that I loved when people would come up and say, wow, you genuinely are that same person. But as I've gotten older, I think there becomes this moment where people kind of almost don't trust you, because you're like, okay, there's no way you can be like this. Who's the real you? And I think coming to that moment, I think the timing's perfect, because I think genuinely within the past few months, I've changed so much. It felt like ever since I cut my hair, like, I don't know what happened, but the second that happened, so I'm excited to,
You know, when it's common when people get out of a relationship, they cut their hair,
dye it, do something different. It was literally like out of a relationship with my channel. That's so funny. So I am excited to kind of reintroduce everyone to like the new me and how I've changed and grown up, and yeah.
We talked about it a little bit about your being comfortable in front of a camera.
Mm-hmm.
Did you, when you were acting as a kid, did you want to be in front of a camera or just live?
I don't think I ever made the conscious thought of which one. I definitely just enjoyed it a lot. And I remember making movies with my friends when we were so young. And I remember even then thinking about editing and thinking, oh, well, when I edit this, I can like erase this and we can do flips. And it was like this spy series. It never made it. We do have the footage somewhere. But yeah, like just always loving cameras. And there was this one time I wanted a video camera so bad, but like we didn't have the money for it. And then finally one year I got one, and it was this used like huge thing, and it was literally so huge. And I loved it so much. Fast forward about a year, I think it died or something, so it broke. And all I wanted to do was break it so I could like see how it worked. And I remember my mom was so confused because I was like, can I go like smash this in the backyard? And she was like, why? And I was like, I just want to see how it works. She's like, okay, cool. So I literally like got a hammer and just like, it was so funny. But like, I don't know, I just always loved them.
Which kind of leads us into the creative process. Mm-hmm. You talked about getting some of your ideas for the pranks on just Googling them and online. Mm-hmm. Where do you get your ideas?
Most of them, and this is so cliche sounding, but I always tell people this on panels or anything, my best ideas come when I'm hanging out with friends. And it kind of makes sense because, especially being in a more relatable category, like I feel like a lot of my content is geared towards that just because I'm like, I'm not like a Kylie Jenner, like I'm just like me kind of thing. Whenever I'm just like hanging out with friends and someone does something funny, I always get like, oh my God, that would be a great video idea. Yeah. And the times that I try to like slave myself to my desk and think of a viral video, it never happens. So a lot of even those pranks, like some of them have been, I have like a go-to group chat of friends who always, I can just bounce ideas off of and see like, hey, is this actually funny? Like, do you have any, you know what I mean? Right. So,
what do your friends think of this? Mm-hmm. The whole online.
You know what's funny is I'm actually not that close to anyone that I went to high school with, and I've always been just doing YouTubes for so long. So there kind of became a point where like all my friends all do it or are aware of it or fully in it. So I'm curious what a lot of people from high school think.
So dating.
Yes. Non-existent. I can cut that real quick or real fast. Non-existent.
How much do you think, though, when somebody meets you, they're going to actually go watch the videos?
Oh, I'm sure everyone would. I mean, like, if I think about it, maybe it's just because, I don't know, is it because I'm a girl? I don't know. But I feel like if I met a guy and he said, oh, yeah, I do this, and he explained it and said his channel name, you know the next day I'm going to, like, look it up, you know, just right. Like, because I'm curious. Yeah, it's... So I feel, but also, I don't know, maybe they don't, but I think it's hard. What's hard about it is it's 90% of my life. So it's so hard when I meet people, even friends, to not talk about it. Because especially, I remember I did an acting class over a year ago. And I tried to not bring it up because I don't know. I hate people thinking that like they're bragging or something. And there's really no, so I tried not to bring it up, which almost was more of, I feel like that kind of hurt me more because genuinely I just sat so quiet in the back. I'm such an introvert, by the way. Like I sat in the back of the class and like didn't talk to anyone because I'm like, I don't know how to not talk about it. So I'm just not going to talk to anyone. And of course people are genuinely like, you know, especially acting class, you're doing like group things. You're on, you know, in front of everyone. At some point, everyone just even one-on-one be like, oh, so like, what do you do? Are you in school? And I'm like, okay, I don't want to lie. Like, no, I'm not in school. So I do this YouTube, like, and I would always be so awkward with it. And then there came a time where I realized, Alisha, you just have to own it. And like, you know, you're not bragging. You know, it's just so much of my life that's so weird to not talk about. When
people find out you are on YouTube, mm-hmm. Are there preconceptions that you bump up against?
Yes, it depends. It truly depends on the person and their views of social media, because a lot of people will be like, oh, and you know, like, it's very obvious that they think I don't work, I don't do anything, oh, it must be nice just to travel everywhere. And then you get some people who understand it and they're super impressed and they're like, wow, like, that's amazing, I follow these people, which over the years it's definitely gotten more to that. But
well, let's talk about that, because you said towards the end it was kind of a 3-day marathon to create videos. Mm-hmm. Take us through the process. What is the process?
Gosh. The process is an interesting one. I think, it's hard because there's the process before the burnout and then during the burnout. But
well, what do you think the process is going to be going forward?
Oh, here we go. The process going forward. I already have a list of like video ideas that I want to do, and I have told myself, and I've promised myself I'm going to keep it to this. I'm not going to have a set day for uploading, because I think half of my stress genuinely
was meeting that deadline.
And it was a great tactic to grow, of having, you know, so people know when to come back to your channel. It's one of the biggest things that YouTube tells people that you should do. But I think now, knowing my personality and how I work, that stresses me out so much to where I would put away all the creativity just to put up a crap video that literally I'm not proud of. I wouldn't even want to watch it. Why? Who else would want to watch it just to meet that deadline? So now I'm definitely not going to have a set day of uploading. And if I want to upload twice in 1 week, I have that freedom. And if I want to skip a week because I need more time to work on the next one, then I have that freedom too. So I think I'm curious to see if it hurts views or if it makes it better just because the content is so much better, you know? I don't think it'll matter too much.
So how long is your typical video?
Between 5 and 10 minutes.
How many takes does it take to get it?
Oh my God,
5
so
to 10
much.
minutes.
It depends what mood I'm in that day. I can be a perfectionist, which I also hate about myself. So there's definitely times where I'll refilm the same scene or the same shot so many times, and then I finally get so frustrated. I'm like, Alisha, no one else cares. Like, it's okay. So, but I still try to get the shot that I want.
Do you use a camera person or do you use a tripod?
My sister helps me, so it's really just us. Moving forward, I'd like to hire people when needed. You know, if I'm planning on doing like let's say a house tour and I really want like a Ronin and the stabilizer and the full thing, definitely hire someone. Where I think before I would waste time trying to do it myself because I have in my head it's this huge cinematic movie-like video, but then it doesn't meet that standard, and that's what makes me have to redo something 20 million times. When I realize, okay, like next time I need to be more realistic. Like, can I actually get the shot that I want? You know, is it the right time of day? Like little things like that instead of it's Friday and the sun's going down and okay, I'll just get whatever.
What about Instagram, the photos?
Instagram. Oh my God. Well, Instagram is, I'm known within my friends to take the most photos. Like so many of my friends, they're just like, hey, can you take a photo of me? Because whenever we go on trips, I'm usually the one who like takes photos of everyone, and then Ashley will take them of me. And everyone, maybe 30 photos max, like maybe. And they're like, yeah, that's good. Like, sure, that works. You know, me on the other hand, I'll take 1 million. I'm like, no, that's not good enough. Like I want, and it's bad. I will say, I'm actually moving forward. I'm trying to have a new theme on my feed of, just less effort. I think that's something Instagram is definitely that place where people show the highlights of their life, the best of the best.
Instagram's the beautiful channel.
The beautiful, everything. I feel like moving forward though, there's going to be a switch at some point where people like are just everyone on YouTube at least is just so tired of that picture perfect person. And I think Instagram's going to be following that step soon. I think it's just so hard because now everyone knows that most people Photoshop everything, even like locations. There's a lot of people who Photoshop, like if they're at Huntington Beach, it looks like it's Thailand. You know what I mean? So, well,
like a typical shot that you do, how long does it take to set it up? How much thought do you give to what's in the background and how you're sitting?
Kind of a lot. Usually, a lot of times I'll work with photographers and we'll just set up a quick like little photo shoot or something. And before that, I'll usually like think about the outfits that I want and the locations. And then I picture like, okay, like do I want to have like an ice cream with this one? Do I want to just be like chilling on my phone, or is it like an outfit one? And then once I get all the photos, narrowing them down to the like hero top 4, you know? And then from there, there's an app on my phone. I usually use Snug, and that's one where you can basically pre-plan all your photos to see what it'll look like. And most people use something like that. So that's like right now, I think I have like 10 photos that are just like ready to go, but like I still have to figure out the perfect feed and order for it.
How much time do you spend working on that?
A lot. It kind of feels like a game. I don't really go on games on my phone, and I've realized what feels like a game to me is finding the perfect, it's like a puzzle. It's like finding the perfect order for that, or like, this is horrible, but even like low-key online shopping. Like I realize I don't, like the apps make it so much, it just feels like a game where I think that's why a lot of my time and energy goes there, because it can be addicting where you're just like, oh, I have to figure out the perfect puzzle. And like when your feed looks perfect, you just have this satisfying moment of like, yeah, I did that. Like, but then I don't know. So it's interesting seeing how much is what you purposely put in as, because I'd love to have more of like a 9 to 5 where it's like, okay, now I'm going to work on my Instagram for like 20 minutes, but it's just like, it doesn't really work that way.
So how did you grow your following?
At one point, I realized, it took a long time to realize this, that thumbnails matter, titles matter. The more technical side of YouTube matters. So what I kind of did was I remember noticing that, looking back on my channel, I remember having this moment of realizing, I should do videos that other people are doing, that people are searching, popular videos. At that time, like morning routines were everywhere. Back in the day, like literally, if I had a video get 100,000 views, I didn't think in my head, I should do more like that. Like I genuinely was like, that was good. Now I'm going to do this eye makeup look and name it some fancy creative title to make me stand out. But in reality, no one searches that. Right. So I think I had that moment of realizing, that did well. I should do more of that. People like that. This is trending. Like this title works better. So I think having that moment is what really, I always tell I always tell people starting out on their channel, that's what it feels like, that you should do popular videos and do trending things. However, have your own twist to it, to where when people find it, they'll want to stay and watch more because like you're standing out.
So if you were just starting out now, is that what you would do?
Oh, fully. Yeah. Because I think there's so many times, and it's kind of funny. It's known that I I will stalk smaller channels so much. I love it because it gives me the nostalgia of when I started. Like, and it's so funny because a lot of people a lot of my friends make fun of me because they're like, oh my God, you know the YouTube world and all that stuff. But my biggest thing is I'll come across people and they're an identical clone of someone else that we all know. And it's just, there's such potential there, but they're limiting themselves because I'm not going to subscribe because I already follow someone else.
Somebody else that does
Yeah. So it's like having your own personality, which now I've realized 10 years later is the number one most important thing, is what I would do from the beginning.
Now on Instagram, about how many people do you follow?
Under 1,000, because at one point it was 1,000. I remember I unfollowed 200 people. And the reason why I unfollowed them all was I took a second. I was like, I don't even know your first name. I usually feel bad about myself because your body's so perfect. Like when I see your post, so why do I want to watch, why do I want to see that? And then 3, I'm like, I just don't know who you are. So I've realized most of the people that I unfollowed at that point, and it was nothing against them in any way. I was just like, I can't connect to you on something.
Right.
So I think realizing that and being a viewer and being an active user helped me as a creator because I realized what I was looking for as a creator or as a viewer.
Do you follow people that you're not friends with that you just?
Oh, definitely. But for some reason, there's something about them that sticks out to me and that I remember them by. And I either follow them because I love, their feed, their photos. I feel like they're standing out, that they're being themselves and doing something different. There's this one girl, her name's Teza, and she's on Instagram and she's been blowing up lately. But it's because she came in and her vibe was just so different than everyone else. And she stood out in front of a world of other bloggers. And I don't really blog that much, but, I love, my sister told me about her and I really loved her. And it's funny because everyone talks about her and says the same thing. Right. So it's interesting how much people like people like things when they're the same, but at the same time they love when things are also
different.
Yeah.
Now you had mentioned earlier you think the next thing on Instagram and a little bit in YouTube is to be more real. Yeah,
I had this idea, which I was like, it kind of could be fun to do my feed like normal, but when you slide, the next photo is like a blooper photo. And that way it shows people I got this perfect photo, but there were literally 200 other ones where I felt I looked horrible. You know what I mean? So I was like, I think that could be something fun. Someone like Lele Pons, she's huge. I think she does an excellent job in showing her goofy, funny side and not her so perfect. Because oh my God, she's beautiful and she's but she has those photos, but at the same time, she'll have her derpy photos and rock it. And that's why I don't know how many followers, but it's close to 20 million. She's massive. And I think that's, people want something to connect with. And, we all have that.
So what do you think is going to happen when Instagram allows hour-long videos?
Ooh, IGTV. At first I was a little confused by it, but I think it's also really good just for YouTube to have a competitor. And yeah, so it is that separate app and stuff, but at the same time, I don't know, I think it'll be good. I think it'll be fun. Even it pushes me as a creator to think of, okay, what kind of content do I want to do here? I think that's also going to show, because obviously you can edit it, but I think in the long run, it's you're going to see more of someone
More vlog kind of.
Yeah, you're going to see more of someone's personality, where on Instagram, most people don't upload videos to Instagram. Some people do. But overall, most people don't, just because it ruins the feed, or it like you can't edit it the same way. And there's just a lot of little things around it. So I think IGTV was a great way for them to kind of like bring that in.
So now we're going to get into a little self-reflection.
Yes.
Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being you could care less, 1 being you could care less, 10 means it matters a lot.
Okay.
How important is how people think about you?
Used to be a 10. Definitely now I'd say it's a 7.
Which takes us to, how about criticism? Which is kind of the twin sister of this.
Weirdly enough, and I think this is what I'm still figuring out about myself. And low-key, like, going to therapy helped me realize this. But in some ways, I don't care at all what people think. And in other ways, I really care what they think. When it comes to viewers, I told you, like, hearing that they were super supportive and stuff helped a lot. But overall, the average, like, hate comments don't really bother me. But when it's other creators, and I want them to respect me as a creator, because that's what I think of, that I overthink things, and I'm just like, oh, I care about what you think, when I think of like other peers or something like that.
Do you read your comments?
I do within the first like hour or two, and sometimes throughout the week I'll like kind of check up on it, but I used to read them all day, every day. And then I finally realized, for the most part, most of the haters are trolls that find your video later. The people that have your notifications on, that you're in their sub box, within that first hour, you hardly get any hate, because they're subscribed to you.
And they want to see
if they're subscribed to you and they're still leaving hate, then that's just on them. It's like, why are you doing that? So I've kind of figured out that little tactic, and that's helped a lot, because honestly, it's like your most dedicated followers, I guess in a way you can say they get, I don't want to say rewarded, but like you will reply to them more, like, because you're going to see them and stuff.
Right.
It's like you get that interaction, and then you don't have to worry about the haters, because they usually come later in the week when they just like stumble upon your video.
What has been your family's reaction to this?
They've been so supportive. I remember when I first started, I didn't tell my parents and at all.
How did they find out about it?
Well, this is what was so funny, because especially then, to say you're a teenager and uploading videos to the internet just sounds extreme. Like, I get why parents wouldn't want their kids to do that fully, but I didn't tell them because I knew that they wouldn't want me to do it, you know? But I wanted to do it anyway.
I have my nephew, I found he did a rap, he's from Omaha, Nebraska.
Oh my God.
He did a rap video.
Oh my God.
I've saved it.
Save it so he doesn't delete it.
Oh, because he took it down.
Yes.
No,
oh my God, of course.
When his mom found out.
He'll want it in 10 years, I promise.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so funny. But I was watching YouTube videos, and I was watching them all the time. And I remember my dad walked by, and at one point he was just like, when are you going to do that? And I literally was so shocked and was like,
well, I am.
I already am. But then that was as long as that went. And then from there, I felt like I had that okay of like, okay, like they know, it's fine. And then I think I actually just talked to them about this recently, but it was maybe like a year after that my mom kind of had that moment of like, oh, like this could kind of be something. I'm assuming like we were shopping and people kept coming up or something like that. And I think she was just like, wow, like, oh, this isn't just...
when was that for you? When was it that the first person recognized?
I remember I went to a makeup convention. It was called IMATS, and there was this one girl, I forget how many, I probably had like 50,000 subscribers at that time. And this girl comes up to me and she says, hi, like I watch your channel. Can I get a photo? And I was like, yeah, I totally remember what she looks like. I forget her name, which pisses me off so much. But literally I was just like so blown away. And I think 2 or 3 people came up to me that day.
How long ago was that?
Oh my God, that was 2011 or 10, maybe 2010. But it was literally like so crazy, and that made my freaking month. Like I was just like, oh my God, like that girl came up to me, and it's the best way to get, because it's so easy online just to see a number and to see it as a number. When you actually have someone face to face with you, like there's times when, let's say a video hits 1 million views and I was expecting it to hit 2 million, and I'm like upset about that, you know? Right. If a million people were in front of me, I don't think I would even care. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I would care. Like, I wouldn't care that I didn't hit 2 million. Like, it's just so easy to see a number and see it as a view. But when you have a meet and greet and meet people in person, like, that's such a special connection. And I think it's really important for creators to find a way to connect with their fans, whether it's face to face or something like that, just because it makes such a difference.
How often, when you go out now, how often do you get recognized?
You know what's funny?
You have your haircut, so.
Yeah, oh my God. It's definitely all the time. I can definitely expect it. Like, it wouldn't shock me ever. But what's interesting is I can go to Disneyland. I love Disneyland. I can go there, and if I don't Snapchat, if I don't vlog, if I wear slightly darker clothes, like, I can easily not get recognized. You know, it's like, it's funny how I can either have a meetup if I really want it. You know, if you see a girl with a camera, like, that just brings attention, you know? So it's funny how, like, I can know what to expect by, like, what I'm wearing if I'm vlogging, like, but yeah, it's definitely a lot, I will say.
Completely shifting gears.
Okay.
What is your definition of an influencer?
Ooh. Well, lately I've tried to change my vocabulary and stop saying YouTuber because I realized, no, I'm an influencer, you know, and...
Well, you forget your Twitter follow.
I forget
Twitter. How do you grow Twitter that much?
Twitter's an interesting one.
And I'll come back to your definition of an influencer.
Yeah. Okay. Definition of an influencer. I would say anyone who just, it's so cliche, influences. Like, whether you have a blog or even a Facebook, or it's your, I would say, your full-time job of just doing social media and all of that stuff.
When did you first start to consider yourself an influencer?
Genuinely, I don't think that long ago. And that's when I started trying to change my vocabulary of, like, no, like, I can use YouTube, but that's limiting me to one platform. And, like, I'm an influencer, you know, and, you know, even starting a podcast or something, like, that's not YouTube. And I think it's more respected in the traditional media Hollywood sense too, of, like, when you just say YouTuber, like, how many headlines are there with, like, horrible things with YouTubers? You know what I mean?
Right.
So to say, like, no, like, even blogger sounds more professional, which is funny because it's still, like, it's like, oh, I'm a blogger. Like, there's just this stigma, but yeah, I think anyone could be an influencer. It's just devoting your time to it.
Have you had an I've made it moment?
When I hit 100,000 subscribers.
So that was it for you?
That I, like, cried. I have a vlog. I, like, cried. My family got me a cake. Like, literally, it was such a... But back then, 100,000 was, like, the million now. Because it just was so not saturated like it is now. Like, hitting 1 million now, honestly, sadly, isn't as impressive anymore because the bar just keeps going higher and higher. But back then, like, I hit 100,000 and I was I was just, like, it was everything.
You've talked about advice on if you were growing a YouTube channel. What's your just general advice of somebody that wants to get into this space?
Ooh.
On managing your life, on managing who you are, while you're still being that out there.
I think definitely having, and it's funny, it's so cliche, I've heard this so many times, but, like, it didn't click to me, but just having a support group around you, whether it's friends, family, of people who can kind of keep you in check and that are just going to be so honest and genuine with you. Like, there's so many times I see people and they're in friend groups and it's just, like, toxic because you know that they're just, like, it's all superficial and, like, you know that they really don't have each other's backs. And right. When I think of the people who are in my life right now, I'm just, like, blown away because genuinely all of them care about me so much and they know the real me. And I think that's the biggest thing of just have a good support group, have, like, balance to your life. Like, as it's always just going to be the next thing. Like, the vlogs are just going to have to get crazier and crazier if you set that precedent. And, like, yeah.
So you've been on YouTube 10 years. If you could go back to your 10-year younger
oh my God.
self,
oh my
what
God.
would you tell
I would
yourself?
love that. I would tell myself to not care about what people think, to just do whatever I want to do because I am talented in it. And I think I really discovered along the journey of, like, my talents and, like, now I can sit here like so confidently and say like, I'm meant to be a creative director. Where back then I was just like, oh, like maybe people are going to think this, or like, I don't know, I'm like not confident in myself. Or now I'm just like so confident, and YouTube's definitely brought that confidence. Going back to being an introvert, a lot of people that from my past at different times have just said, you out of all people, like you were so shy. But it's kind of funny now being in this space, a lot of influencers are introverts and are shy, and it's so funny.
You see that a lot with television actors.
Yeah, everything in entertainment, it's so funny. I mean, obviously there's the other, but it's so funny.
So this has been great. So where can people find you?
Yes, main channel is Alisha Marie. I have my other vlog channel, which is Alisha Marie Vlogs, which is just a daily, like, follow me around on my day kind of video. Twitter, Instagram, Alisha. I don't know how I got that, but I did. It's just Alisha. And Alisha Marie on Twitter. So if you type Alisha, it should come up anywhere. But
thank you.
Thank you.
That's it for this time. If you enjoyed our podcast, please write a review on iTunes and tell your friends to subscribe. If you have any questions about influencers or suggestions for future episodes, email them to John at Pfeiffer@pfeifferlaw.com. Thank you for listening.